Thank you so much for tuning into the Woman to Woman podcast, a conversation for women like you, smart, successful, curious, and interested in being your best self. Join both Sarah and I as we discuss topics that women our age are actually interested in, with both of us being candid and often having differing views.
As coaches, we sprinkle in advice and tips, along with humor and vulnerability. We hope you feel like a fly on the wall with two friends. Let's entertain and inform you and welcome you into our friendship.
We appreciate you pressing play and spending some time with us, wherever you are in the world.
Let the magic happen. Today in this episode, Angela is sharing with us her story back to 2018, how she made the decision to start serving others with coaching. And I'm going to explain you what happened in my life that contributed to that same choice. I really hope that you're going to enjoy it. Just relax and listen to it.
Sarah, how's it going?
Hey, Angela, I'm good, thanks.
Oh,
Thanks for asking.
oh, sorry. Sarah. Where did Siri come from? Siri wants to be in our call. Okay. No, I was just saying, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was someone from my family, like my extended family. But I will often be asked, why did you decide to become a life coach? Do you get that at all?
No, actually, not that often.
Do you find people ask you that?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really. No, I don't have that question very often, actually.
Okay. Well, I do, because obviously this was a career change for me, started in about 2018. So I haven't been doing it my whole life. I've only been doing it, 3 or 4 years. And yeah, so I think it also might be because coaching, it actually, since I've become a coach, I feel like it's a little bit more accepted now than say maybe in 2018. But it is an emerging industry. It's becoming quite normalized in the corporate world, and it's now becoming a similar modality to therapy, but it's still fairly new. What about, first of all, tell me in France, but what about in Malaysia? Is it super common or not?
Not really, not that much. What works here is definitely, traditional Chinese medicine. So this definitely, that people go for this kind of modalities to go and search for healing. Coaching is still very new here.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I know some coaches here around, of course. What Malaysian people love the most is hypnotherapy. They love it because they think that it's going to fix in one session or maybe 3 sessions. It's going to fix all their problems in their life. Mm-hmm. But coaching as per se, not really, not yet. In France, it starts getting a lot more popular as well. But as you said, it's an emerging industry, so it's popping up everywhere now.
Okay. Well, so I think that's why I'm asked, and I actually have a really great story about it. So shall I say?
Oh yes, please share it.
Okay. So as I said, I think right at the beginning, well, we kind of said this at the beginning, but it's just a kind of a good story for me, because I have been a closeted personal development junkie legitimately since I was a child. And as I've grown up, I've even explored different religions. I've been really interested in Kabbalah and Buddhism at different times, not currently. And The Power of Now, actually, that's something we can talk about one day. It's the most life-changing book that I ever read. And I read that in my late 20s. That probably completely changed my perspective on life. But anyway, prior to that, I was still really interested. I've gone through Tony Robbins phases, law of attraction, millions of things. But it was closeted. Like I felt like I was a little bit, would be judged for it, or maybe I judged myself, and therefore I didn't tell other people. But in 2017, I was on holiday in Bali, and I was with my partner, and someone from his corporate world had left the corporate job and had moved to Bali, to become like a wellness entrepreneur. And so when we were there, we caught up with him because my partner really wanted to see like what, had happened to his friend who is now meditating on the beach every morning and blah, blah, blah. And so we went to dinner with him, and he bought, a girl. I don't think he's serious girlfriend, but a girl he was seeing in Bali. And we all had dinner, the four of us. And the three of us, my partner's friend and the girl, we just locked in to a conversation on all of these things, like similar to you. And they were both wellness entrepreneurs. I don't think either of them were coaches, but they were all, in that area. And my partner was just left there going like, what language are you guys literally talking? We were talking about Abraham Hicks. Is that what it's,
yeah.
Do you know Abraham Hicks?
Abraham Hicks.
And that was legitimately a different world, you know what I mean? And they were like, how do you know all this stuff and all these modalities and whatever? And I was like, this is my passion, it's my secret passion. I'm sorry, I've been outed. And afterwards he was like, wow, that's crazy. And you are so into this stuff. And in that dinner and that conversation, they were saying, well, this is a job. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is, and I was just like, pounding them with questions like, how do you do this for a living? And I would love to. And at the time I had just written a book, and I was maybe kind of between jobs and didn't really know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And I came home and I was like, that's it. I'm going to be a life coach. Like I already have a lot of the foundation. And then people were like, you should just start. And I was like, no way, like I have to be certified. Because then I kind of found out it was an unregulated industry, which means that, there's lots of charlatans and stuff, which is why, with energy healing, I am quite careful. I won't go just to anyone. And coaching, is actually a very different thing than what I thought. Like it's not all just giving life advice and sharing what worked for you or teaching people different tools. I definitely incorporate that in my coaching, but coaching is an actual style of conversation. Do you know what I mean? And a way to dig deep. So, and I was like, I have no idea what that is. So I went to an accredited course and what have you. And that's the end of my story. And actually, even after that course, and, I wanted to find a way to help my clients even more. And for me to like deep down get to know them was how I found human design. But that's my story. And I think it's kind of a cool one. So
I confirm it's definitely a cool one. And I really want to know more about human design, but I know we're going to do a special session on that. So people start to know about it and understand about it. Well, my story is completely different from yours, actually, because I'm working in a corporate environment. And when you work in this environment, it may happen at the time of your career where you start questioning yourself, like, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to do? What am I serving? What exactly I'm doing, because sometimes your job, it's just like so tiny in this big environment that you don't feel that your job has an impact. And so you start questioning. And the thing is that this did not happen to me, actually, but it happened to my husband. So we were having two kids at that time, too young, so 4 and 2 years old. And it was definitely challenging. Having one kid is hard. Having two kids is crazily hard. Having 3 kids, it's so easy. But that's another discussion. But when you come to the second one, so my husband was working extremely hard, and he did not like his boss. He did not like his job. and you start really questioning everything. But when you start questioning everything, you start questioning literally everything. So your life, your couple, your personal life, your professional life, you start questioning everything. And at that time, he was under the influence of a group of friends, and anyone in this group were not parents nor married. So it was like, dang, this is the freedom that I'm looking for. So he went for it. And so it damaged our family life, our couple. So we separated for a while, and this happened 3 years ago. And I knew at that time that it was going through a phase. I was not certified coach. I was not even into it at that moment. But what happened is that I was considering that first I want to save that marriage. So we did it. And second is that I felt completely alone because I'm away from my family. I'm away from my friends, that I have for years. And arriving here, but this is a different story. But arriving here, I had friends, but I'm as an expat. My friends are expat too. They were leaving, and my local friend, I was not that close to share that period of my life with them. So the thing is, I was like, I need to change something. I mean, if this happened at that moment and that way, it can't be only his responsibility. I'm probably also part of the problem. So this is where I started to question myself and what did I did wrong, but I never questioned that question, by the way. But it was much more, okay, how can I do better? And I did not know the power of that question, to be honest, at that time, but I decided to go for it. So this is where I started, being interested in the personal development journey. So I gave birth to my third child, and it was like, I don't know, something happened when she was born. It's just like, okay, I'm going to focus on being a role model for her and for my boys. So this is, that became my truth. And so, okay, how can I improve myself? How can I do better in my life? How can I show up better? And this is exactly the questions that come up when my little girl was born. So I entered a personal development journey, and that was funny because I was sharing this with my friend who was the HR director of the company that I'm working for. And then she was like, oh my God, with all what you're learning. So everything that I was learning, I was sharing it with her. And she was like, with everything that you're learning, you should be a coach. And then I was like, okay, what is this? So I started searching for it. And I was looking for trainings that I could do. And here in Malaysia, I could not find really what I was really looking for. And she was kind of into it. So she was like, oh my God, I found that this new company, they offer training, but it's in Bangkok. And here in Asia, we can travel easily prior lockdown, prior COVID. So I was like, okay, let me give it a try. And when I shared that idea with my boss at that time, he was like, because I was looking for a coaching leadership, and leadership is definitely the key word when you work in corporate. This is the season of the leadership word. It's like once you tell them leadership, they are all for it. And so the first time he said, no, I won't let you do this. Second time he said, no, I won't let you do this. And third time, I think he was sick of me, keep trying. And he said, you know what? Okay, go for it. And I have been so lucky because the company paid for my first training. So that was just amazing. And I would be always grateful for having him as my boss, because he could understand what I was going through. And he totally understood that it would not only benefit me, it would benefit as well my leadership in the company and my role in the company. So it was really a win-win. And this is how I started. So I went for my ICF leadership coaching, and I did it. And then I loved so much the people that were giving the trainings. So they were also doing the NLP, all the level of the NLP practitioner. And I did them all with them. And this is how I became a coach. That's my story. And I start I started, doing peer coaching here and there, and I met beautiful people like you. And so this is how I became coach. And definitely many, many, many things changed in my life the day I became a coach myself. So it's definitely a rewarding path to go for. So either you decide to become a coach yourself, but then if you decide to become an entrepreneur, then you go on the path of the entrepreneurship, and that's even more, it's different from being just a coach.
What a great point. Yeah, they're different. They are different. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so but you don't have to go for learning to coach, because when you have the tools for your clients, you can't apply it for yourself because you need someone else to challenge your perspective. So ultimately you go for a coach, and then you hire a coach in your life, and then boom, life is changing when you have someone by your side challenging your perspective, helping you setting your goals, and helping you seeing things clearer. Trust me, this is just like this. It's already life changing. Then after that, we go much deeper and deeper and deeper after sessions after session. But yes, it's definitely life changing. My way of educating my kids have completely changed. I'm not the mother that I was 3 years ago. Definitely I'm not. I understand more how brains works. I understand more, the how we think and why we are stuck. And I can see, that kids can easily create fears out of nowhere. And so luckily I'm attuned with the tools and the modalities to help them overcome these fears that they create out of nowhere. But yes, it's powerful, and I love this journey. I think I would not choose any other one, to be honest. It's the best.
Yeah, I just, particularly since I've been asked that a lot, I don't think anyone, just comes out of, you can't even really study it at university. And I don't think you come out of school saying, I'll be a coach. Do you know what I mean? I think it's usually something that, accumulates over years. And yeah, and most people have an interesting story as to why they got into it, I think.
But the thing is that I have to add something that one of the biggest lessons that I've learned this year is that you can't be a good coach if you don't heal yourself first.
Yeah, it's the same with therapists. They have to go through, I don't know, 4 years of therapy so that they don't bring their own crap per se to their session. So I totally agree. And that's why with the ICF, you actually have to be coached by your peers, and, you have to bring up all of your hours. Like, you can't just be thrown in the deep end, because it's a huge responsibility to hold someone else's healing. And you do have to be able to put yourself to the side and come, in service of them. So.
Yeah, exactly. But what a brilliant journey it is, to be honest. Definitely, I love it.
I agree. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. I'll see you soon.
Yes. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and every time you listen, we truly appreciate it. And if you would like to follow me or learn more about my work or get in contact with me, please go to my website, which is angelajanecoaching.com.
And if you want to know more about my work, you can go on sarahmeng.com. All the details are going to be listed in a comment below. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram or Facebook, where we are sharing our daily tips.
Bye.
Hope to see you soon.